We're on the campus of Loma Linda and my guest is Dr. Tiffany Priester. Dr. Priester, thanks so much for joining us. Now, this is home for you. You grew up in this area, right?
I did.
And you are now someone who has served for many years as a missionary. Where did that first vision, that first idea of being a missionary come to you?
Well, growing up here, of course, doctors come back from overseas, back to their alma mater, the Loma Linda University, and I would hear their stories, and I was inspired to go out as well.
So you chose to become a doctor specifically so you could do mission service?
Yes, but I also enjoyed it. You know,
Okay.
they say to choose something where you feel God calling you, and you can also have your own talents, your God-given talents, to be used.
So they work together. So how many years were you working in Africa?
5 years.
And at the hospital in Malawi, it was an urban hospital?
Yeah, it was in the city, a city of about 1 million people in a country of about 16 million people.
Okay, so this country of 16 million people, you were the only cardiologist in the entire country.
That's right.
What were some of the, give me an example of somebody you were able to help and on an ongoing basis.
Sure. I actually, because I was the only cardiologist, got to help everyone. From the very poorest of the poor, they came in with no shoes and calluses on their feet, and we were having the nurses scrub the dirt out from between the cracks, all the way up to politicians. Even once in the 5 years, I got to take care of the ambassador from America to Malawi, several political figures, and the local business people. So basically, everyone top to bottom in the socioeconomic status.
What was the hardest thing when you were serving there?
I think the hardest thing is to adjust to mission work as a day-to-day thing. You know, it's not something you can prepare for. Sometimes you go on a short-term trip and you think, okay, I'm going for 10 days and this is going to be my plan. And I think it's more frustrating to say, okay, I need a 1-year plan and a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, an exit plan, an entry plan, and holding that vision even when you're tired, even when it's late at night, even when you don't want to anymore, I think is the biggest struggle.
Yeah. Now, I grew up in a family where every day for family worship we would pray for the missionaries. I don't hear a lot of that going on today, and it seems to me that sometimes we forget about the missionaries serving there. Did you ever feel that way when you were serving?
Sometimes. It is kind of difficult, you know. I'd come back home on leave and I'd see an Adventist article, you know, this man is going to some foreign country for 10 days, help him and look at the wonderful things he did. And I'd think, I'm here for 30 days and I'm going back and I've already been there for 3 years. And I would love to have some more features of our current missionaries. We have 23 medical doctors and 7 dentists out, and I would like to help us remember those people, to support them, to give them the support they need, because we don't want any of them to feel that they're not supported with our prayers and our love here while they do God's work.
I've also heard stories sometimes of missionaries who return and it's like nobody really wants to talk to them or hear their stories. Have you ever heard of that sort of thing happening?
Sure.
Yeah.
There is some kind of saturation depending on where you're at, and I think some people are uncomfortable with the idea that if they hear a mission story from overseas, maybe they think they're supposed to go overseas. Maybe that's what they're called to, and that's a very uncomfortable feeling. And I would like to share that each person has their own talents. 1 Peter 4:10, each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. You know, not everyone should go overseas. And I think if people come and hear those stories, they should be inspired to help out in their local communities. Shine your light where you are. And I think we could do better if we would ask our missionaries to talk, to share their stories, and then to apply it to our daily lives in our own hometown.
Right. And of course, people who may not feel called to go overseas, they are still called to pray for and support mission, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Bible is full of those stories. Ellen White is full of counsel on that. It's very clear that for those people who do leave their own hometown and go to another hometown, we have an obligation to support them. And those people who are here have an obligation to help local, to help regional, and to help abroad.
Tell me about the DMA program, the Deferred Missionary Appointee program.
Sure. The program starts when you're in medical school or dental school. You can sign up for the program and tell the general conference that when you finish your training, you would like to go out as a missionary. In return for your service, they help to pay back your student debt so that you don't have to worry about that while you're out. Currently, the calls are 5 years long, and so it is a commitment of time. And I would say to anyone considering that sort of work, try 1 month during your training, see how it goes.
Right. Now, was this helpful for you in going as a missionary?
Yes, there's a network of people supporting you. We met other missionaries from other faith denominations that were out and had a lot less support than we were receiving from the General Conference. So going through a structured program where people are supporting you and they're willing to help and they're willing to set up structure. For example, we are allowed to come back once a year to visit our family, and it's not every missionary that has that kind of support behind them where they can. So being part of a program has its benefits.
Right, and of course you could have graduated, gone into private practice and paid your student debt off much quicker.
That's true.
But this did enable you to make it a little easier for mission service.
That's right. It's not a loan repayment program per se. You could do it quicker on your
Right.
own, but it does allow people with high debt to be able to be out.
Okay. What I understand that although you have now returned to America, Africa is still close to your heart and you still have a commitment. Tell me what you're doing.
So we've committed 10 weeks a year for mission service, and we continue to go back. We're trying to do 2 5-week trips during the year to continue to help. But also, I would like to get the message out about those missionaries who are out there, who need our support from back here while we're here.
Right, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining with us and sharing today. Viewers at home, what a tremendous challenge there is still in many parts of the world where healthcare is very, very poor, where the need is great. And let's never forget about the missionaries who are out there serving. Let's pray for them. Let's continue to support them financially. Let's remember them in our hearts, because it can be lonely, it can be challenging, it can even be discouraging.